go clock into TikTok and get a little closer to 8 o'clock. Oh, look, people are already coming in. Say hello if you're in. If you do have a little time to grab something to drink, and we'll get rolling. So let's do this. Boom. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay, good. So just say hello when you're in the chat. Just getting on a little bit early to let people pile in. We have 4 minutes before we get started. So I got everything here. Good. All right. So I'm all set and ready to hit the live button on TikTok. Tonight we're going to talk about, if you're watching, say hello. Tonight we're going to talk about out of body and about out of body, which is astral. And we're going to also talk about remote viewing. So is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Hey, Mike. Just getting logged in a little early so people can start joining us at 8. Getting the chat room open. Hope everything's good on your end. I'm here in Mississippi. Anyway. I'm sure she's going to come in eventually. She got a little upsetting news she texted me about, so I'm going to send her some love and some luck with that. All right, what time have we got? We've got... look up here, it's going to be easy. I got 2 minutes. And we'll get started. Grab yourself something to drink. There we got Cindy's coming. I see the numbers starting to climb. Hi, Cindy. I think might be at KJ's this weekend for a little while, not long. I am coming in to do a wedding in Mandeville, and then I will be traveling to New Orleans. I'm marrying one of my students to her long-term fiance. So I'm gonna be at Fontainebleau Park. I'll be at Fontainebleau Park Saturday at 4 o'clock, and then Saturday night I will be at KJ's. I think I am gonna go Saturday night for a little while, unless something else comes up. But I should be there. I know my besties are gonna be in Baton Rouge. All right, 1 more minute, so I'm going to get ready to get started. There we go, and as soon as it hits 8, I'm going to go ahead and hit the live button on TikTok. Live and go live. All right, it's 8 o'clock. Let me get this started here and I'll get going. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Touching Eternity, the podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about astral projection and remote viewing. Is there a difference? Absolutely, there's a difference. So we're going to talk about that tonight and get your input and see if any of you've had any experiences. And then I will do a couple of card pulls, but tonight Magni's in, so I'm not going to be on too much past 9 o'clock. If even till 9, depends on how many people join us tonight. So again, I want to thank everybody for a wonderful cruise a couple weeks ago. I will be doing a wedding. I'm coming into New Orleans this weekend to do a wedding. I will call a couple people who looks like they were trying to get in-person appointments to see if I can line those up for the around the wedding, and some on Sunday, because I will be in all day Sunday this time. This go round, I will stay all day Sunday because I have a doctor's appointment Monday morning. So I will be spending Sunday night in New Orleans as well. And Trini's going to be in. So my work wife is coming in this weekend. Hey, Zeta. So Trini will be in tomorrow at noon, and then we have something. We have a client together at 6, and then we have a group Sunday morning. And I think it's Saturday I have a wedding, so I don't know what Trini's schedule's like. But we will be working this weekend. If you're interested in an appointment with Trini and I together, you can contact me. If you want something with just Trini, you need to contact Maddie. If you want an assessment with just me, you can contact me. But my weekend is limited, so I'm trying to save it for anything that I'm doing together with Trini, because I do have I'm finishing up college, guys, so I will have some homework too. But anyway, thank you for joining Touching Trini, the podcast. This is podcast number 1, episode number 152. It is being recorded, and you can find it on YouTube. Hi, everyone there in TikTok land. Thank you if you're here with, hey Cindy, I see you. And Cindy Fricky, I see you. And thank you for joining on TikTok. So tonight we're going to talk about remote viewing and astral projection. Is there a difference? Yes. And we're going to talk about those differences and the similarities, or the means of doing it. And I'll be here to answer any of your questions about that. And I will also do some readings later as well. I'll pull some cards for people. I don't do full readings. I'll just do a card pull for people. Unless you have a question, then I will definitely do questions. But I've noticed that my group doesn't like to ask questions. They rather card pulls. So anyway, let's talk. So what is remote viewing? Well, remote viewing started probably started way before that, but it was documented and it was studied in the military. And if many of y'all seen it, they made a comedy about some of it, Men Who Stare at Goats. Was when they had all the psychics in the military. So that's that was a comedy. But remote viewing, and there are courses you can take in a remote viewing. But basically what they found is that when people don't fall into their left brain, when they stay in their right brain, that they really see real things. And how remote viewing, excuse me. Hey, how you doing, Celeste? To tell you how remote viewing works, I actually teach a little bit of it in one of my courses. And basically what it is like, so in the remote viewing class, they will write a number on an envelope, and they put something, a picture or a statement inside of an envelope. And you only get to see the number, and then they have you do different steps to distract your mind, and then they have you figure out what's in the envelope. And I will give you an example of one that's pretty easy. So I was taking the course, and they in the course we had the envelope with the number, and like first they have you draw like what they call like an initiation line. So it's like a connection line. So you can scribble something, write something, whatever you want, but it's real short, it's real quick. It's all done in a few seconds, and then you drop whatever you're writing with. It's done really, really fast. And then they take you through a process of doing things in your unconscious mind. But the minute you think, you have to or think about what you're going to do. You have to drop your pencil or pen and count to 10, then pick it back up and start again. And so what I had done, they had talked about about like the energy and like like what direction did you feel the energy. So I basically drew, and they had us draw shapes and stuff. And so what I drew was like like a semicircle, and then I drew some energy waves going a certain way. Then I drew a little box below the waves, and then the question that was in the envelope was, where is that girl that went missing in Aruba? Like I can't remember her name completely. That was many, many years ago, but that was the question. And for me, so my answer would have been, she was in the ocean, in the water. She was, way, way below. And so so that's, how, what I figured. Then there was another one we did where I drew like two circles, and I had energy exchange, and then it was, what is the next world's disaster? And we were at a time with the solar flares coming in from the sun, and so I had done that. So and that was just by reading numbers. So it was a very remote viewing. It's grueling. The course I took was 2.5 days, I believe, and you spend about 6 hours. And at 6 hours, reason it takes so long is that between each session, you have to take about 1.5 to 2 hour break to free your mind. You have to free your mind when you go into working, because the minute you start thinking anything, you have to drop your pen or pencil and count to 10 backwards or forwards, whatever, and then pick it back up and start just letting your hands do the work. And so it was really, really, really an interesting course. I will see if I can locate the information, Deidre, for you, or who's having another one. But I prefer you to take the one that's done with the military. It's a guy who actually studied with the people from the military who gave it. But try to find someone that's the military, because that is the true remote viewing. In the mediumship world, what remote viewing is a lot of times is more visual, where you're actually seeing things and you're able to like move the curtain and see things. But so some mediums will call that remote viewing as well. Mavis Patillo was one of those. She's an Arthur Findlay trained medium who was a wonderful teacher, and she has passed now. She's visiting us from the spirit world, and she did this when she read people. She would see herself walking up to a door. She would see a curtain get pulled, and then she would pull back the curtain, and then she would see what she needed to see, and it would be the validations of life on the other side. And that would help her give her validations of life beyond this life. So that's what she called remote viewing. But the military version really helps strengthen your ability to connect, because it makes you get out of your left brain, especially if you're a left brain thinking person. Remote viewing will help you exercise that right brain and help build your strength there. So I would recommend it for that. Astral projection is a little different. Yes, it's very visual, but it's when you actually see yourself leave and step out of yourself and still able to see where things are. In my earlier years, before I got into mediumship, I was really good at astral projection, to the point that I could visit you and you would know I was there, and you would know exactly where I touched you or something that I moved, or I could describe to you in detail what a room looked like. Now that takes practice. Can I do it today? Probably, but it would take me a lot more effort and work. And sometimes in my mediumship, I will see a scene and I'll be able to describe it, in much detail. That's astral projection, when you're able to see yourself go out of the body and go places and do things and have a direction with it. So you wouldn't pass out, Celeste. So again, I'll give you an example. So my business partner and I, like my work wife, she was living with some guy at the time, and she lived like right down the street. Like we lived in almost like the same block, but she was down the street and to the left living with him, and I was in my apartment up there, and I astral projected to her. And I was able, it was like 2 a.m. I could see them in bed sleeping, and then he got up out the bed and he went into the refrigerator and he drank something out of the refrigerator. And, and I'm telling her all this. She goes, well, what did he drink? And I said, well, whatever it was. I said, I couldn't see it. And then when she asked him about it, I don't know if y'all remember those little convenience store mugs from Time Server, the white coffee mugs. That's what he drank. So I couldn't see what he was drinking. but I could tell that it wasn't true. His back was kind of, I mean, I couldn't see. I just saw the kind of mug go up and him drinking. I was able to describe what they were wearing to bed, and and the colors. And I don't see in color. So that was, then we did some experimenting with it. So her and I were really connected. I could actually travel to her, and I would put my hand on her shoulder or pat on her head, and she would actually feel it and know the time that I did it, because I would write it down, then I would show it to her, and then I would show her putting in an envelope, and then I would say it's in here, and she would say, well, this is what I felt, and then when I would open it, that's what it would be. So it was validations that I was really traveling to her. And then I got asked back, many of y'all know Angela Hill, who used to be on the news. Well, she had the Angela Hill show, and I was invited to go onto that show and with a few other people and talk about out-of-body travel. And during that show, of course, they always plot the faith killers in the front row who was trying to slander us for having this ability to see, to be able to travel out of body and see things. And so, I wouldn't fight with them. I just gave them the facts and said, this isn't against God. This is something that anybody can do. It's a matter of learning how to do it. And I have one student now that I'm working with just for out of body. And he's been working. I'm surprised he's not on tonight if he didn't see. He must not have seen that I posted. I'm going to talk about it tonight because he is one of my out of body students that I'm still working with, helping him achieve that out of body visual. And we'll talk a little bit about out of body and how you can start practicing it a little bit later. So I did the Angela show on out of body experiences, and a lot of times people have these experiences. I noticed in the medical field, a lot of times people have these out of body experiences when they are near death. Like they'll see themselves raised above their body, and they'll be able to look down. They can hear everything, see everything. They can tell what's happening in the room because they're not present in their body. But you don't have to die to do it. It does help. No, I'm just kidding. It makes it easier, but you don't have to die to travel out of body. You just have to be able to go into an altered state of consciousness. And so I tell people all the time, it's if you can really get into that theta state, which is it's almost like being knocked out, that if the closer you can get to theta, the more you're going to see, the more you're going to be able to do. Now, people ask me, well, how do I know when I'm in theta state? Well, with today's technology, if you want, you can go to, probably got them in the TikTok shop, or you can go anywhere, and they sell, or on any other online store, even the big one, the big A. I don't want to say because I don't want to get kicked off anywhere, but they sell these headsets that you can wear, and there's different meditations you can do, and it will tell you how long you stayed in these different levels of consciousness. And so you can practice going down and getting into that. And a lot of people will tell you that's where most all of us get our information, is from those levels, those lower levels of consciousness. Hey, Delise. And so that is definitely, where a lot of people get their healing power, where they see things. Some people have been able to do many predictions from that level of consciousness. So if I was going to teach you or tell you how to do out of body, the first thing I would do is tell you first you have to learn how to clear your mind. So focus on your breathing, focus on your breaths, learn to have that clear mind. I have ADHD, so that's very hard for me. Okay, so good evening, Angel. So again, work on that first. First, try just sitting in some meditative states. If you need music, whatever it takes, focus on your breath. Focus on your breath going in and out, and try not to focus on anything, and just try to get down to those deeper levels of consciousness. Once you're there, start trying to do some creative visualization. Now, that doesn't mean BS. Test yourself. An example, one of the things I do with students when I first meet them is they've all walked into my house when they come there to study. I will take them into a meditation. I will have them relaxed, and then I will have them go out of the body, and I will have them, hey Candace, and then I will have them travel out my door and tell me what you see in the street right now. Note where the cars are parked. Is there anybody playing? What are the colors of the cars that are out there? Where they're placed? And then when I bring them out of the meditation, I will take them outside and see how many they got right. Again, the deeper you go, the more accurate you're going to be. Okay, and so that's just how I start you off in developing how to travel out of your body. If you have a good person that can bring you down and help you reach those levels of consciousness, Glenn Edwards and Scott Milligan were the two best for me. I just got to be honest. Glenn got me so far down that I was able to push out one of my guides. When I think I've told you I saw it a bunch of times, but I was able to push out a guide so that everybody could see it. Like the whole auditorium was filled at Arthur Findlay. They all told me what they saw. I went out of body and traveled behind myself and seen that person overshadow me, not possess me. Don't freak out. Overshadow me. There is a difference between overshadowing and possession. Hey, bestie. And we will probably have that conversation in a minute, because a lot of people get freaked out when they say overshadow. Or it's not like possession. No, it's not a possession. It is energy that overshadows your body and can change configurations of what people see. It does it. It's not evil. It's not scary. And if you're a physical medium and produce ectoplasm, I've watched. So we do an exercise in my mediumship class, which is where we're sitting in the red light, and we go into trance, and you will watch the people in front of you, their faces start changing. They'll get doll eyes, their faces will start contorting, they'll turn from male to female, they'll age, they'll different ages, and you can see the different energies in their field. And it's not them, they are being overshadowed by their guides or their loved ones even. And so that is an exercise we do in most of my mediumship classes, where we sit in the power, and then I put people down into trance states and watch them morph and change, their energies change, their faces, and change the way they look. I have a few funny stories about that. I had a very, very spiritual person in one of my classes, and we were doing this exercise, and the minute she saw the faces starting to change, she screamed for Archangel Michael, and she started praying, and I'm like, it scared her, because that's the way she was cultured to believe that. She's a phenomenal spiritual person, and she changes like she does energy work. She changes while doing energy work, which she doesn't have to see herself change. So it kind of freaked her out seeing other people, the energy changing around them. And so that is called overshadowing, when energy does that. It's not possession. Possession is when a negative or a positive energy get inside of you and try to inhabit and not leave. These are just puffs of energy that form around you, and then the minute the light comes on, they go away. Or they're still with you. They can still be with you if they're, but they're not negative, and they're your guides and your loved ones. And so it's really, really cool to see. And if you want to try it at home, and again, the best example I can give you, what you might understand, you remember when you were a kid and you used to put the candle under your chin, they'd play called Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, used to scare each other with that. Well, basically, it's the light that was changing you, but actually, you don't need all that. In red light, your face, the energy around you will create your face to change on its own. And so we do it in the red light so that people can actually see the energy, see the changing of the overshadowing of the energy that people have. And this is something you walk around with every day. You just don't notice it because it's on you. And you're not in that room with that bright color light. Yeah, I could see you as a male, Celeste. I have many women, very, very feminine women, who turn into men when we put them in the light. And you'll see, and it's more than one. Like, they will morph into different beings right in front of you. It's amazing to watch. And let's see, who's in here that's taken my class? Zita was here. She could tell you. She's done it many times with me, where we put you in the red light, and the energy, it morphs you, it overshadows you. Zita's in here. She's experienced it. So, again, it is something fun to do if you because you can do it with anybody. But just don't try to scare people with it. It's not meant to scare. It's meant to embrace and know that your loved ones are there with you, that your guides are there with you at all times. Yep, Zita says, yes, it's amazing, because I know she's done it a few times with me. And if you, again, there's two forms of the overshadowing. One is energetic. So that's when you can see the energies just kind of morph in front of you. And then there's one that's done with ecto, where the ecto will come out and attach the medium's face and morph the loved one's face in the ecto. Or it can actually as ecto can come out of the medium and start building the person right in front of you. Now that's something to see. But anyway, unless you've studied this, unless you've walked my shoes, and like I said, unless you've traveled like I have and go to see physical mediums who can do these amazing things, you would not have probably experienced that in your lifetime. But you can easily do the red light. Easily. We sit in kind of red light, and it's where it's a little dim, and then the person, you just sit there and go in meditation. The deeper you go, the more your face starts to morph, the more you change sexes, your eyes will be closed, but then the doll's eyes will form on top of your eyelids, and it'll look like you're looking at us, and we know you're not, but it is your guide that's looking at us, or your loved one that is looking at us and getting to see us. And so that's kind of really, really cool. But though we know that, our loved ones on the other side, they give us visions of eyes, but they really don't have eyes over there. So anyway, it's a really interesting. So that's kind of the difference between remote viewing and astral projection. There is a difference. Astral projection, when you actually physically see yourself leave your body, and you're looking at yourself from somewhere else, and then you can travel and go places and do things and see things. And I think when we were talking about dreams a few weeks back, I remember talking to you and telling you that now that I'm older, I'm really starting to dream about my concurrent lives. So like I don't have nightmares anymore, but I usually dream about things that I know aren't happening right now, but it's things that I could be experiencing in an alternate dimension. And we've had those conversations before when we talked about doppelganging and stuff, because we have those validated stories of doppelganging. So that's really cool too. So again, if you want to practice either your astral projection or remote viewing, the first thing to try to do is learn to silence your mind. Deep breathing exercises, focusing on the breath, and these are all very common. You can find these anywhere. Like you can go on YouTube. Oh, I shouldn't have said that probably, but the Tube, or you can go to most places and pull up a good meditation video that will help you get into those spaces, help you focus on the breath, and get that first. And then once you do that, then try to see how deep you can go without falling asleep. So don't do it when you're tired or you're exhausted. Do it when you've had a good night's sleep, and then towards the end of the day when you get home and you want to relax, try to relax and try to sit in the darkness and just sit there and be and sense the feeling around you. One of the exercises we did on the cruise ship was I had the students go to different areas of the boat to sense the energy, to sense the differences of how it felt. How did it feel inside of an auditorium versus where the steam comes out of the ship, and the boilers and all that, and then being on top of the deck, to feel the difference in the vibration. Because in a theater you have acoustics, and so it dampens it. It makes you feel more enclosed. But when you go out, the air and the energy is more fluent and more flowing. And so I sent them to different areas, into their cabins, to sense what it's like in their own space versus someone else's space. So these are things you can do at home to start helping get your mind right, so that if you want to try going down. Now, I will tell you something. So one thing that I've been able to do in trance, I have called out the lotto numbers twice, but it was always when, and everybody said, if you're so good, call out lotto numbers. That'll never happen. You have a life that you have to serve, and you have to be the energy of the lotto numbers. When I called them, they came out. I was calling them as they were rolling out. So there was, and what was happening was I was picking up on the energy of the signal coming into the TV, or the air to the TV. So I was able to call out the number before. I've done that twice. But what I was able to do was go to a casino with a hypnotist and have them put me down. And I was able to pick 1 in 10 roulette ball, and roulette pays 1 to 33. So that was quite lucky. Again, we actually got kicked out of a casino for that. So, but it can be done, and that's getting into that altered state. Getting into that altered state. And a lot of people say, well, you can't see the future. How would you be able to? But you can. Because life is a constant. Energy is a constant. Time is a constant. There's really no time. It's just a constant. And so there's different variations. If we couldn't see the future, we could not do what we do. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Okay, so you can see the future. The hardest part about seeing the future is that you never know if you're right or wrong until it happens, right? And the only way that I know that I'm capable is because of my clients that I give predictions to, and they come back and tell me what I was able to see. I can tell you when I'm in a certain states of mind, I'm better than other states of mind. It depends on where my head's at, so I have to get into a certain state of mind when I'm doing a session or I'm doing meeting with people. I have to get into a session. But doing this, I know that I can do because I see a lot of things that haven't happened. And I've given people a lot of evidence and in fact, I have like 3 very huge business people that come to me on a regular basis a few times a year to talk about their business and take it places. So yes, it can be done. Yes, it can be done. So again, but it's up to you to practice. It's up to you to understand the different levels of consciousness. If you have the time to look all this up, look up the levels of consciousness, understand going from gamma all the way down to theta and below, beta, all those. You got to understand what each of those levels are. The closer you can get to theta, which is very deep level, almost practically sleep. The closer you can get to that and maintain is where you're going to get the most information. So know that I am telling you that is definitely true. Hey, Glenda, I'm glad you were able to join us. So anyway, in order to, even before you go to remote viewing, you have to be able to clear your mind, or you're going to be there for a very long time. Because every time you think, you have to drop a pen. You have to drop your pencil and count to 10 before you can pick it up. And the minute you start to think, you got to drop it again. And then you start to redraw or write a little more, and then you got to drop it. And the minute you start thinking about what you're going to write, you got to drop it. And it's amazing what your mind can do. So try some of those things on your own. Try that. Just like I tell you guys, go to a place. Everybody wants to go see a ghost, to go see something paranormal. Those things are cool, I guess, but those things are cool. But wouldn't you rather see a miracle all the time, rather just when you went out there and had an expectation of it? So what I tell you, if you go to a place that has history, and you can make it as paranormal as you want, but what you should be doing in those places where there's history is sensing the history and seeing what you feel, and then going and look it up at a library or online or whatever and see if you can find any proof of what you saw. We went to Chalmette Battlefield and did that. And you'd be surprised at people that didn't see the battle. And that was great, but they saw things that, even though it was the battlefield, they were able to see other things like the trading that went on there. And because there was a lot of trading that was done on those grounds, and the people, and they were able to see what was being sold and traded and those things. And that's not like when you go to Chalmette Battlefield, you don't see that. It's in history books and stuff. But the people we took there were able to see those things and able to sense them. So yes, of course you could connect with your son, Angel. The thing is, you have to believe that you're connected. But the problem with that, Angel, and so Angel asks, I want so everybody can share with her. She says, can I connect with my son? Absolutely. And again, I'm not reading you. I don't know if your son is living or deceased, but either way you can, whether he's living or deceased. You can connect to him if he's living through the act of astral projection. You can reach him on the other side as through mediumship. The key, if your son is passed and on the other side, the key to connection is understanding that you are a spirit, okay? That you are a spirit. Every living person is a spirit, and that when you're communicating, it's coming back in your voice usually, or what you know, because that's how the spirit communicates with you. Okay? So know that. Okay? Your higher self is going to connect to the spirit world, to the soul of a spirit, and then it's going to come back in your terms, because you're going to create a language with the other side. Hence why I actually did this after last week. I did a symbology reading for somebody and mailed them some cards. So understand that. Ask for things, but don't be dramatic. Here's the thing. Your left brain, it'll kick in and tell you everything's. You will try to discredit everything that the spirit world shows you, because you're not taught to see those things. So you will try to mentally discredit everything that you see. Oh, that was the house settling when you hear the knocks. Or if something, must have had water under the glass. Or if there's a song on the radio and it comes on, it's a song y'all sang, oh, it was just coincidence. But then when these things start happening all day long, you're like, these aren't coincidences. And people, especially if they're in a lot of grief, they don't see. They're in so much grief and so much pain, their right brain shuts down, their left brain takes over and tells them how they should be thinking, how they should be feeling. And so if you can get past that, you can stay connected. I meet with my family daily in the shower. And just about all my family is gone. All the people like my age and above, 98% of them are gone now. It's my generation that's going now. And so, and again, you have to understand, ask for things. They will flick the light. Somebody just said, no, I believe he always flickers the light. Yes. Well, he's communicating with you. But if you want to know if it's him, ask for some real, you tell him when you want to see things. I'll tell my mom, knock on the wall. And I'll wait a few minutes and I'll hear. And then I don't want to believe that, because I'm like, yeah, that's probably just the house settling. That left brain kicks in, right? I'm like, okay, Mom, now give me two knocks. And then I'll hear. Then I'll wait a minute. And I hear another knock. And then, so again, oh yeah, the shower is one of the best places to communicate, because it is what mediums call a cabinet. It forms a cabinet. When you close that curtain, it houses the energy, and you got the water for conduction. Showers are a great place. Look, trust me, they see you naked anyway. They see everything you do on the other side. So it doesn't matter. You can be naked in the shower with them. They don't care. So yes, Angel, that is a good thing you can try to ask. And take your time with it. Don't rush it. Give me a knock. Wait a few minutes and see if you hear something knock. It may not be in the room with you. It may be outside the room. But then, wait a little bit longer. Say, can you give me 2 knocks and see if you hear the same type of thing twice? And it will generate for you. And last time we gave this exercise, some people actually wrote back and said, yeah, it happened. I said, yeah, of course it did. Because your loved ones. So once you study mediumship, guys, and let me tell you, I thought it was going to be off mediumship. It could be more astral projection than that. But since it's all kicking back to a little bit of medium, you're welcome, Angel. It seems to come back to, come back to you. As with mediumship, you start to understand when you start getting the validations and the somebody's getting married around somebody in this live. But anyway, you start seeing time after time, you start seeing the validations keep coming, and they keep happening and happening. At one point, you got to understand it's real, And then so many people try to discredit it because they've been taught and cultured to discredit it, and you got, of course, you got your Penn and Teller, who they go after people. They go after mediums all the time, try to tell them they're full of it. And then you got that other guy who offered $1 million to want to prove it. These people aren't worthy of seeing these miracles. It comes from your heart. The energy comes from the heart. It comes from the love, and it comes from, what is grief? Grief is the amount of grief you have is the amount of love you have for somebody when you go into that grief. Okay, and so all the medium comes from love. And one thing I tell a lot, one thing I teach students to remember And this is how I know if you really believe in your mediumship, is that I tell students, I said, remember one day you will transition and you will go meet the people that you've brought through. And if you did them any dirt or lied or swindled their loved one, that's on you. So you have to be very ethical in this line of work. Very ethical. You have to be very ethical. And you have to, you try to bring peace and love to people who are in grief. When people call me for a reading these days for mediumship, they ask me, well, what kind of reading do I get? I deter them from mediumship. The only time you should be really getting mediumship readings is if you've recently lost someone or if you're still in grief. And after you've had about 3 or 4, and if you're still, grieving, at one point you need to, if you're still in grief like that, you probably need to go to therapy. You try to get past it because they will connect to you better when you're not grieving. Think about it. If you were energy and you passed, and say you wanted to go visit your child, would you want your child to be sad when you go visit them? No. You don't want them to be sad. You don't want them to be angry. You want them to still feel that love. And so I try to get through my grief processes as quickly as possible. I don't know, Celeste. I saw 2 people. I saw a wedding. Oh, I'm doing a wedding on Saturday. So that might be, I don't know. I don't think she's online. She did send me a text though while I was talking to you guys. But I'm doing a wedding on Saturday. I'm like, maybe that was. I saw 2 people getting married. I'm like, then I realized I'm doing a wedding on Saturday, and she texted me not too long. I saw it not too long after she had texted me about I got to meet with them about going over the wedding before Saturday. So we're going to go over the all the vows and stuff. But anyway, so again, baby steps. I try to tell you first. Try to sit in the power, sit in silence, do your meditation, do your breath work, do those things to help clear your mind. Want you to see if you can go down lower and lower, and you will start noticing things more. You will start seeing things clearer. You will start noticing like the lights flicker. You will notice things move. You will notice you put something somewhere and you think you're crazy because it's totally somewhere else. I mean, Zeta, this has happened just not too long ago, and I think we talked about this maybe one other time on here, but Zeta was at my house, and her and I were at my kitchen table, and my wallet was right next to me, and then when I turned back, my wallet was on the other end of the table, and I looked at Zeta, I said, you knew that wallet was right here, right? I said, I haven't gotten up. I didn't get up from the chair. And then my wallet, and then she didn't, and we were just talking, and then we looked, and I looked over, there my wallet was my way, and then I saw it at the end of the table. I'm like, that was crazy. Like, my wallet literally picked up and went down to the other side of the table and sat down while we were talking, and like we hadn't moved. It was crazy. That happened with Zeta and I. So that was absolutely insane. So, normally I would say, oh, I must have got up and put it there, but I know I didn't. Zeta was blocking the way because she was sitting on this side of me the way I would have walked if I would have moved my wallet down there. Yeah, my phone too. Yep. My phone moves all the time. It's crazy. But again, it's just how many. So let me ask this. This happens a lot. Let me see how many of y'all can talk about this. So have you ever got up in the morning or had to get up and go somewhere, but something always delays you? Things that shouldn't delay you, like you might have walked outside and forgot your lunch in the refrigerator, had to go back in, or you might have, you get outside and just, you knew you had to do something, but you didn't do it. And you had to go back and do it before you left. Those just can't always be absences of memory. Sometimes I think those things are meant to be to delay you for whatever reason or to hold you back for whatever reason. Because it's just, sometimes it happens, it's the craziest things happen. And again, if it happened once or twice, or if you were a little senile, okay, but I'll sit there and say, I'll pull my lunch out, so I'm sat on the counter, I'll grab everything looking right at my lunch and walk out. And I'm like, then I have to put everything back in the car, then go back in and get it. But again, there could be a reason for that delay. There are no coincidences, folks. And I tell it to people. Sometimes things are meant to be. And so sometimes stop trying to fight it. Just let them happen. Okay, well, whatever. I'm going to be late today. That'll be fine. Yeah, but this doesn't just happen at old age, Celeste. It happens at all ages. Think about the times, you ever been in your car and like you're driving, all of a sudden you look up and you're 4 exits further down than what you thought you were? And you're like, how did I get here? Like, those things happen. And I call it going into the zone, but that's where a lot of this stuff takes place. That's the point I'm trying to get to you. That's where a lot of these miracles take place. And a lot of everything, right? Everything is meant to be. My friend Jill, and I tried to get her on tonight, but she's at a crawfish bowl without me. But anyway, so my friend Jill, she's the storyteller. And on the cruise, you know, she was talking about, look at yourself today and look at the things that have happened to you and create your story. And understand why you are where you are today. Type of person you are, how you were raised, things that happened to you, things you were taught, things you were told. Who made you who you are today? Who cultured you? Every thought you have, everything that you see has been generated from your left brain, from something that you are aware of. And so the mediumship part or the psychic part comes from the right brain, and that's your creative side. And that is where everything happens. That's when you're going down. That's where all that information is stored. You know, everything about your life, the latest theory out there, everything about your life is stored in your spine. Your spine has your history. So that is a new theory. And so to go back through your lives, if you vision going through your spine and making each of your vertebrae a level in life, and then try to see, visually take yourself down each vertebrae. That's another exercise that I like to do, is take people down their vertebrae and let each vertebrae be another section of their life. And put visualization to it. Those things help. All the time you try to start to go with no keys. Well, I got a push button. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyway. You know, but again, yes, you forget your keys, you forget stuff, you forget to lock the door, so you gotta go, or you think you left something on, so you go back in, but these things will delay you. You know, and they're not always just absence of memory or being rushed. Sometimes there are reasons for those delays. How many of you have gotten delayed that on your way to where you're going saw a bad accident? Had you not been delayed? Or something. Let's not make it that bad. How many times you've done that? Saw somebody some cops had pulled people over for speed, and you didn't get pulled over because you got delayed. I mean, those things happen. Just saying. I want you to think about that. I really do. I want you to take time, and I really want you to think about that. And I want you to be aware of your surroundings. I want you to be aware of the miracles. What are the odds that the same bird's going to land in your yard the same time every day in the same place? What are the odds of that? Think about those things. One of my friends gets followed by butterflies. They will really come up on her and they will follow her in grocery stores, like literally. What are the odds of that? You know, think about those things. Okay, those things will help you connect and help you do the things you need to do. All right, so here they are. They're in my pocket. Cards. All right, and I'll pull one of each again. Let me just shuffle them and break my last reading. So if anybody wants a card, and Jamie, if you're in the room, please watch TikTok from me and flash me if somebody on TikTok wants a card so that I can see them. I just want to break them up a little bit before I start pulling them. Ooh, okay. Somebody's cheating. All right. It's hiding it. Okay. I miss you, Mary. Thank you for joining. Okay. So first I have Glenda. All right, Glenda, I will pull you 2 cards. One from this pile, and I see one over here. One for you, one from this pile. So Glenda, I've got the Emperor for you, the Emperor, and I've got the Open Door. So Glenda, what I think is going to happen with that, when I get the Emperor and the Open Door, what that makes me think of and what that makes me want to say to you is taking charge of your life and not locking yourself in. Being able to make the changes you need to make. Being able to walk through that door at a pace that is good for you, at a pace that's going to help you move forward with the things you need to take care of. And I will go there with you. Oh, everybody. Okay, that's Glenda. Next is Angel. And then my friend Sophia. Hey, Sophie. I'm coming to Dallas, Sophia. I'll be there July 10th to the 13th. I go into a conference. I'll be in downtown, not Dallas, Denver. I'm sorry. I'll be in Denver. I'll be in downtown Denver at a conference in July. Okay, and so this is Angel. So Angel, I've got the 9. That's the 9 of coins. 9 of coins. And the, right, yes, 9. And then the baton. So I'm trying to get so everybody can see on TikTok and on here. So looking at these 2 cards, what these are telling me to tell you right now is there's financial things that you need to make changes with, but with perfection. You need to make some changes, move some money around, maybe do a little small investment that you know is going to grow for you. That is what these cards are telling me to tell you. So right now it's time for you to invest a little. Maybe it's just in yourself, but there is investment. And my friend Sophia, I have got the Rose and the Queen of Swords. Rose and the Queen of Swords. And what that tells me, Sophia, is also the Queen of Swords is a woman who she's a contract person. I kind of think you're going to get some type of contract or a great blessing coming through a contract or something legal, something for you to sign, or are you going to get a contract in business? There's something about that. Oh, y'all, I'm coming off that cold from the cruise. But anyway, I don't have a cold now. It's the leftovers. You know how that is. But this is to tell you, yes, things are going to move up. Things are going to move in the right direction. Stand your ground. Be strong, and good things will happen for you. Okay, Sophia. Next is going to be, after Sophia, am I going to teach anything on remote viewing or traveling? Yes, I will probably do some things. Guys, I got to get out of school first. I've really got to finish. I got 2 more classes left after this one. I need to get through them. After that, I will be doing some more teaching on the weekends in New Orleans or here online. I will be teaching. I will teach something on remote viewing and astral travel. I will do that. Yes, I get red cardinals, my parents. Yes, absolutely. And Celeste, when do you see my house selling? Let's see. I think there's going to be something that's happening in around either the 10th of the month or in 10 days. Know that I said that. And I see a star with that. So that's what you asked the question. These are the 2 cards I pulled. And this does say pick it up and moving on. This is a star saying that things are meant to happen. So again, I do think that is when I see some more changes for you and your home. Okay. And then Cindy, I see you at KJ's with me tomorrow night. No, I'm just kidding. I got the Magician and I got the yellow. I got the Magician and the yellow. So what this is telling me for you to do is right now, you need to start focusing on life and focusing where you need to take yourself. Start preparing for change. You know, either with your career, with home life, whatever. Start preparing for change because there are things that come in. And I don't think it's bad things. I think it's just life, and it's things that you need to do to help start creating that change. This says you will have the willpower and the strength to do it. So I like that a lot. And then I have Delise and then Mary. So Delise, I got the Fool, and then I got the birthday cake. So I don't know if it's your birthday. No, I'm just kidding. So what that makes me feel is I feel there's some type of education or knowledge coming your way that you need to take advantage of, and it's going to help you make changes on a certain date. It's something, there is a date involved in this, some kind of way about this change that I'm seeing, and about the need to make this change. So I think this, with the change, time is of essence, and so I will say that as well. All right, and then I have Mary, my friend Mary. I have I've got bringing you peace and the King of Swords. Bring in peace and the King of Swords. So when I see that, Mary, for you, and what I see there is, I think that you are trying. I think this is telling you that there are opportunities coming for you to find your peace, to get back to what you're good, to get back to your old self, to get to what you were doing, or where you want, or where you see yourself wanting to go in your field. I know you're a woman of many talents. You can do a range of things. So I think right now it's just trying to get back to where you feel the most comfortable and at your peace. And so I'm going to say that to you, Mary. And then after Mary, yes, and then let's been watching me, and she was, well, I can get Riley a card here, Riley. Oh, Riley. How old is Riley? How old is Riley, Taylor? Is Riley one of your kids? Because I see movement around Riley, and I see her cutting loose with some of her friends, getting some. Riley's going to get some new friends, and she's going to get some new friends, and she's going to make some moves, and maybe a school could be with school, or could be with something. But I see movement for her, and I see making some new friends and getting rid of some friends that maybe aren't doing what's best for her. So she's 17, so definitely I see she's got movement around her, so I feel she's going to make a big move of some kind. Could be going to college, could just be doing something else, but a career, but it's a move for her. But I see cutting loose people that aren't working for her in her life. Okay, and oh, good. Well, it'll have to be before August, Edie, because my house is coming off the market in August, because I'm going to pull it off until the economy changes a little bit, because I love my house and I say I don't want to move it. I'll sell it, but I don't really want to move from it. Okay, let's see. I got Mike now, my cousin Mike. Cousin Mike, you've got ideas in your mind about how to balance your budget or how to make money work for you. So I would say you really need to focus on that and stay away from the rocky waters in the background, and look at how you want to progress and how you want to survive, and look at how you want, plan out how you spend your money and your funding and how you're going to earn it. All right. And then I have, okay, where am I? So I did Mike. Thank you. Janice said, oh, thanks. Thank you. Hey, said, I would like a card, please. Christy Bateman. Hey, Christy. Christy, I was looking at pictures of you today. But anyway. Oh, I already read that. I'm not supposed to be reading cards. Okay. Christy, I got follow your. Okay, so this is the 8 of Cups, right? Yep, 8 of Cups and the heart. 8 of Cups and the heart. And so what that's telling me is follow your heart. Put anything that you're dealing with that's negative behind you and follow your heart. Now is the time to go into that unfamiliar territory and make the changes that you need to make to secure your place in this world. All right. And then Jamie wants a card, my bestie. Jamie, I got the 6 of Swords and purple. That tells me my psychic self is, I bet you're going out of town Saturday. No. Anyway, no. What that tells me is I do see some travel for you, but you're gonna start traveling for other reasons, not just to get away, not because you're exhausted. You're gonna start going to places that you want to go, and it's with your family, because this is the travel card that does bring family along with them. And of course, we just did a family trip, but I think there's more to come. And that's for my bestie. And so it's Christy, Jamie, Candace. I want Candace. Okay, Candace. Let's see what we got, Candace. We got the two of Wands and the Sun. So what that tells me is that your future's looking bright, Candace, but that right now you are looking at either changing your job. There's something about you trying to change or work on. Is something out there you're working on. And what that's telling me is that you need to step into the light, step into the sunshine, and allow that change to take place. Okay, and that was Okay, let me see what Candace did. So, Allie, I'm on you, Miss Allie Wheeler. This is for you. Allie Wheeler. I've got the Page of Wands. This is two odd cards to have together. But anyway, let's talk about the Page of Wands and the Antique Car. So, Page of Wands, Antique Car. So, what that tells me is that even though there are new things around you, it's, pay attention to the value in things and the worth, and that's going to help you make some decisions that I think that are coming up for you. Start looking at value and worth of things as you make decisions. If it doesn't have any value for you or worth, don't do it. Don't do it. And I will say that to you, Miss Allie Wheeler. Allie Wheeler. Now, who I have: Mike, Christy, Jamie, Celeste, Julie. Hey, Julie. See you Friday, Julie. Julie's coming to visit me on Friday at 6. And Toya wants a card. Okay, Toya, this is for Toya. Is Toya on TikTok? Ooh, Toya, you got a good one. Let's see what's over here. Give me another good one over here. Toya has the Star and Infinity. Those are really two blessed cards to have, Toya. So the Star is all about success. It's about dealing with the flow of life. And Infinity is about to keep it moving. So right now, I think there's some big decisions that you have to make, Toya, that you really got to think about. How is this going to affect me future-wise? And again, let me give you this. This is kind of a, maybe not really a negative, but it's kind of an off-the-key example. If you're in a professional field, you don't want to be posting yourself on social media and anything crazy, because you have a professional thing you have to see. So making those clever, well-lit decisions, Toya, working with Infinity. I'm not saying you would do that. That's just an example. Because I actually had that happen recently in my life. Not with me, with somebody else. And I had to have a conversation with them about that. But I'm going to say the same thing here, is that this is all about you being successful. You being sure that nothing steps in your way. This is you looking at things like long term. Stop looking at short term things that are just giving you initial satisfaction. Look at the long term. Start turning your mind to think that way, and that's going to help you, Toya. Okay, next is my son is watching with me, and he's asking if he can get. Actually, your son can. Of course, Angel, your son can get a card. Let's see. We've got the nine of cups, and we've got the letter. So this is about family and messages. Well, not a wild pick, Angel. This is about family and messages. This is about being open to receiving signs from family, messages from family, encouragement from family, those types of things. And I will leave your son with that. Okay, and let's see. Yes, Julie, you can get a card. And I randomly picked these. I can't see anything. They're all upside down. So I can't, all turned over. They're turned over. So Julie, I got the Thief card in the heart. So what that's telling me right now is that emotionally you're giving yourself, you're stressing yourself out too much emotionally right now. We have to stop. Probably maybe Friday we'll talk about that a little bit, but it's all about getting regrouped and reorganized and allowing to set your boundaries so that you don't get affected emotionally by other people. People are purposefully look like they're trying to set you off. And so we're going to look at how we can prevent that. Cayenne pepper is a great one. Ask a lot of my friends. Cayenne pepper gets rid of people when you don't want them around you. But anyway, but I always wish them well. All right. Oh, that sweetie was so close to his brother. That's really sweet. Anyway, so, all right, I'm going to stop reading cards right now, and I'm going to do a little bit of a closing, because it is that time, and I just read a whole bunch of people. But again, I should be finished school by summer, so probably after summer is when I start teaching. I do have an interview tomorrow. I will be doing another cruise. See you Friday, Julie. I will be doing another cruise in January, but it's with a different group, and it's a different type of cruise. It's a spiritual cruise, but it's lectures and classes, and each teacher is going to give a 2-hour lecture during the cruise, and so you'll be able to join the lectures. If the cruise is going to go out of Tampa, Florida, it is going to go to Cozumel and Costa Maya. I will not be getting off the boat. I will stay on the boat because I've been seeing Costa Maya and Casa. Maybe go get some antibiotics at one of the ports if I need some, or some medicines from one of the pharmacies. But other than that, I'm not getting off the boat. I'll probably stay. If I do the cruise, I will stay. But I will let you know probably next Wednesday or so if they've selected me to present on this cruise, and I will then start promoting it if anybody wants to go. It's a 5-day. It's not a week. It's a shorter cruise. And so it will be, it's right after New Year's. It's like January 2nd to January 7th, something like that. So again, I will tell you more when I know more. I'm meeting with, have a Zoom meeting with them tomorrow I had to fill out an application, and I know some of the people that are going to be there giving lectures, and I'll be giving lectures on energetics and spirituality, and telling people how to prepare themselves for, to connect better and be better connected with their loved ones and with the people around them. So that's coming up. That will be in January. Like I said, this weekend, if anybody else wants a session with Trini and I do have some Sundays and maybe one Saturday spot open. Sunday, we are going to be in Belle Chase for a group. We will come do a group at your house. But if it's far, it is more. It is cheaper actually to come to us. But that's up to you. But if you want, I'm reading with Trini and I, or you want a group, please message me. I know Trini's probably filling up because I'm not taking as many by myself because I do have homework to do. So I got to find time to do homework. But anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining Touchy Eternity, the podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Sleep well,